worked in the store in Dunedin, and then kind of came to the corporate office and modernized our business. We bought our first IBM centralized computer system in 1973, and as you can see from these slides, our store just really started growing. We were, by that time, $10 million in volume. Within 8 years after Bob took over in 1981, 24 stores, 1,000 employees. We started our own trucking fleet at that time. And of course, many of you know Bob, that's his picture. In the 1980s, he began the professionalization of our talent pool, hiring a lot of professional non-family leadership, which is somewhat unusual for a family-owned business. We moved into our first big corporate office and opened our first real distribution center in '85. That was just after I joined. And in '87, his father had kind of retired by that time. Like many people who live in Florida and who have been successful in their business, he lived the summers in North Carolina. Driving back and forth on I-75, he saw this thing, these factory outlet malls, and he thought, this is interesting. And of course, as a curious entrepreneur, he went in and kind of figured out what was going on there and decided that, you know, this is a great idea, nothing that we couldn't do ourselves, but I think our customers would like it if they didn't have to drive all the way out to the interstate or up and down the interstate to go to an outlet mall. Let's see if we can't make this happen in a neighborhood shopping center. And that was the genesis of the idea for Bell's Outlet. Bell's Outlet started as a subsidiary of Bell's Department Stores, and we realized early on that if we left Outlet as kind of a child or a subsidiary of the department stores, would never achieve its own potential. So in 1991, one of the first things I was really serious project I was involved in was splitting off the department stores from the outlet stores and creating a shared services organization called Bell's Inc. So we now had the outlet as its own subsidiary, its own president, its own buying team. And at that time, we decided we weren't going to flush our clearance down at the outlet anymore. The outlet was going to buy its own goods. The big thing that happened in 1992 is we became more than just a Florida-based retailer. We opened 2 stores all the way out in Arizona. And of course, we picked Arizona because of the demographics. We understood that retiree customer very well, and there were certainly large concentrations of them there in Arizona. We thought, well, this will be easy. We'll just go up there and open these stores out there. And of course, we realized that the people in Arizona don't want seashells on their T-shirts. They don't root for the Florida Gators. You know, they want earth tones instead of pastel. They want their cactuses and that kind of thing on their T-shirts. So it took us a while. I think E.R. Bell was getting impatient with Bob and this Arizona experiment. And I think maybe if Bob hadn't had a firm resolve to make the outlet a nationwide business, we might have closed it if E.R. Bell had his way. But of course, the new outlets, what was very easy to do was to grow the outlet throughout Florida. We understood so many of the towns in Florida because we had a department store presence there. We understood the customers, we understood the traffic patterns, and so the growth of the outlet in the early years was really pretty easy. Just saturate Florida. We moved throughout many of the towns that we were in and some of the other towns that we weren't in but knew about. And so the outlet kind of grew into a real business throughout the 2000s. One of the other big things that happened during that time is that we had a special order system, we called it SOS, that was designed to help a customer find something in their color, the color they wanted, or in the size if we didn't have it in the store. We decided to offer that service through a kiosk in the store where a customer could go up and punch in what it is they were looking for. And if we had it in a nearby store because they couldn't find it there, we'd mail it to them for free. And that idea kind of grew into what is now BellsFlorida.com, a very viable and fast-growing internet business. We were really in the internet business quite early in the game. In 2005, our chain-wide sales between the department stores and outlet stores hit $1 billion. And of course, 2008 was a tough time for many of us. I was talking to Darryl Turner earlier, and what difference that made in his business to the negative side. It was the same thing for us. The cooling of the housing boom, the recession in the U.S., and in Florida especially, dramatically slowed the growth of our company. We have not yet returned to the kind of double-digit growth that we had in the early 2000s. So that's kind of the history lesson. Turning a little bit to our current profile. Again, I wanted to reemphasize that we have two separate businesses, Bell's and Burke's Outlet. We use the name Burke's outside of Florida, Bell's in Florida and in Arizona. And then Bell's Department Stores, and they're owned by Bell's Inc. Bell's Inc. is a parent company, but a shared service organization that provides the IT, the distribution services, finance, HR, and those kinds of things. This is our department store in Sun City, Florida, typical of what our stores look like today. Our department stores, we have 76 of them now, and a very fast-growing web presence called bellsflorida.com. You probably know our key competition includes Kohl's, Penny's, Macy's, and our brands, which we're very proud of, kind of the focus on the Florida lifestyle. Columbia Salt Life. Real Legends is one we're especially proud of because that's our own. We own that brand. We created it from nothing, and it's grown into something very big. And of course, one of your members here is another big brand of ours, and that's Turkish Comfort. The key challenges in the department store business. I think the key challenge in that middle space, right now in apparel retailing, the high end, the Nordstroms, the Saks, the Bloomingdale's, and Neiman Marcus are doing very well. Those on the lower end are doing very well, and the middle is kind of getting squeezed. J.C. Penney's, of course, is a perfect example of a business that's not doing well at all. And maintaining a, kind of a compelling value proposition that stands out amongst the competition, I think, is the key challenge for the department stores. It used to be that if you were blindfolded and somebody set you in the middle of a store, whether it was a Macy's or a Bell's or a Dillard's or a Penny's, and then they took the blindfold off, you couldn't tell what store you were in. You sold the same kind of stuff, the same kind of brands. And we believe that we understand Florida much better than any of these. We understand the Florida lifestyle. We have products that customers who understand Florida and who live here appreciate. And of course, we also understand our snowbirds. Very, very important part of our business. And when they come, it's great times for us. Interesting little tidbit about Bell's is that most retailers have their very significant peak at the holiday. Of course, you'd expect that November, December time frame is clearly the two biggest months for any retailer. But for us, the quarter that begins January, February, March, is equally as big as November, December, January. So it's great because we have this second peak, which the snowbirds help create for us. Also, a challenge to us is pricing and promotion. We're guilty as charged. We've helped to train our customers to wait for the deal, to wait for the discount, to wait for the coupon, the Post-it note, the Bell's bucks, all that stuff. And it's hard to make money. It's hard to make money when you offer all of those different kinds of promotions. And J.C. Penney was a company that said, look, this is nuts. We're going to stop. We're going to stop this crazy promotion. We're going to go to everyday low price. And of course, it has dramatically affected their business in a way that J.C. Penney probably is going to be quite different and smaller business going forward. That's my prediction. We believe that we've got to rationalize our pricing and yet still figure out a way to draw customers into our stores. We are effectively kind of evolving that over time and trying to beat our competition with our product more than our price.